So this morning I just wanted to go through tape prep. So we always recommend abrading, cleaning and priming. Now this piece here, I've already bonded up this one. Can you see that there? Or is that a little bit out of sight? Better?
Yeah. See that.
So this piece I've already abraded, cleaned and primed. Now we start off by abrading, always, wherever possible. I appreciate sometimes aesthetically, it's not always possible to do so if you're bonding some maybe powder coat or something that's going to be, visual. But as a minimum, we recommend cleaning. So there we have abraded. Now, when I've abraded that, you go in different directions. That's to increase the surface area. It gives the tape or adhesive a lot more surface area to sort of soak onto. We, our sales director always uses the analogy that it can be like a waxed car bonnet. If you take your car to the garage, you have it valeted. It's all nice. It's very shiny. It's very polished. Rain will just flow straight off it. If it's anything like my car and it's maybe been sat under a tree getting sap on it for a little while, that water will pool. And it's because of the surface area. There's a lot more surface area there where it's got that sort of rougher surface on. So once we've abraded it, you need to make sure you clean it. So we recommend cleaning it with our Nova Bond IPA, which is a 99.9% alcohol. So it flashes off really quick. I wouldn't recommend drinking it, regardless of what cocktail you might put it in. But if we just clean that down, again, using a lint-free wipe. And when we're cleaning it just off in one direction. Craig's favourite band, just so that we can obviously move any dirt off. Moving it round, all you're doing there is you're pushing that dirt, grime into the surface itself and back into all those sort of cracks. You can see there how much dirt's coming off just from a little bit of abrasion. If we're not cleaning it down, then obviously it's only going to be as strong as what it sticks to. And if that's a layer of dust or grime, it's not going to be the strongest bond. Once that IPA is flashed off, we want to make sure we're using a primer. We have our Innova Solutions Multi-Bond Surface Primer. Now, we are working on a slightly more sort of eco-friendly version of this product as well at the moment, so watch this space. But when we're priming it, we're making the surface a lot more receptive to adhesive. So it might not always be necessary to do if you're maybe bonding a liquid adhesive, because they sort of act through a chemical reaction. They'll etch into the surface a little bit more. So it's not always necessary to prime. But with tapes, I would always recommend doing where possible. If you're abrading, cleaning and priming, we've done quite a few tests on different substrates and different tapes. And generally, you can expect it to be about 60% more, better adhesion, stronger bond, which obviously, might take a little bit more time. I obviously hear a lot of resistance on how it's adding time and process and cost as a result. But if you're going to be getting the best out of your tapes, well, why would you not? It's going to counterbalance any sort of failures you might have down the line. Or I don't want to spend that little bit more time just prepping it. But then, of course, if a sign falls down on site, your any sort of cost savings has gone straight out the window. So I've got my piece that is abraded, cleaned, and now primed. So whilst we're waiting for the primer to flash off that piece there, which shouldn't be too long at all, in true Blue Peter style, the one I prepared earlier here, I shall get some tape bonded to. So the thing to remember about most tapes is they are pressure sensitive. So you do need to apply some pressure on there when bonding. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that in a shot. So the tape I'm using this morning is our XS110 HTGP. So it's a general purpose tape. It's a fairly new product in our range. But it can also go through powder coat as well. Now, we do quite a different range of tapes and adhesives, as I mentioned before, and this one can go through powder coat. So it's ideal for sort of channel bonding, if you want it to sort of colour match. Flip that over before it sticks to my table. Trim the edges so it's nice and neat. And then apply uniform pressure across the tape, just pushing out any air bubbles in there. Of course, if you're trapping air bubbles, they can, over time, they can expand, they can form a weak point. So you just make sure you're using uniform pressure. Always recommend using a roller, which you can purchase from ourselves, of course. before applying. So again, nice and smooth on there. I've applied pressure. I've pushed all that adhesive down into all those grooves that we've made earlier, and hopefully now making a much stronger bond. Now, as I've been doing that, we can see that the other piece has flashed off. So we can remove the liner, apply our second piece over the top. Now, I'm just doing a standard lap joint here. Obviously, like I say, it can be used for sort of channel bonding or plenty of different other applications. Again, putting down, applying firm pressure and rolling that on there as well. So now we've got a nice firm bond. Now, you can get to about 60% adhesion straight away. Full cure within sort of 24 hours once that's sort of wetted out. But again, the important bits there are abrading, cleaning and priming, just to make the surface out a little bit more receptive to get that extra strength out of the tape. But already you can see that that's not going to be budging anywhere.